Hello, thank you for taking the time to review this important training on how to give compassionate and effective feedback during evaluation events. Along with accurately interpreting a team's behavior, this is one of the more important skills to have in this role. I've been a licensed team evaluator for several years in New York City and have conducted over 200 pet partner skills and aptitude tests myself. I'm happy to share what I've learned with you today. High-quality animal-assisted interventions can only exist where there is a clear respect for relationships. This includes respect for the non-human partner, respect for the handlers, respect for pet partners as an organization, and respect for the clients. You are embarking on this team evaluator journey with an understanding of our duty of care. Most team evaluator candidates choose to take on this leadership role because they want to increase access to therapy animals in their communities. For that, we are so grateful, as are the facilities, schools, and individuals who will receive the teams you evaluate. But it is also important to recognize that this role has high expectations. Many teams visit vulnerable populations, even in predictable settings. As an evaluator, you have the responsibility to ensure teams are capable of such visits. Therefore, while it can be hard to not ready a team, especially one who seems so close to being ready, or a team that has passed before and is renewing, you have a duty to care for the safety of the general public more than you have a duty to pass on any one team. Please bear this in mind always. The next few slides are a reminder to protect yourself from an unpleasant situation by avoiding miscommunication. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Check out another video on stress-free evaluations in the resource library. The sooner you raise concerns about a team's weaknesses and offer prompting, the easier it will be to deliver the ultimate not ready or not appropriate score. You can do this through formative feedback, which you'll learn more about in the manual and through the demonstration videos on YouTube. Write things down. Neither Pet Partners headquarters nor the handler in front of you know what you're seeing or how you're interpreting it. The score sheet is your safety net. It's a legal document that Pet Partners will use as evidence in all future cases related to the team in front of you. Taking clear live notes on the score sheet will act as a roadmap for the summative feedback and help back you up if you are challenged. The most successful candidates spend time practicing making observations, practice filling out the forms, and become proficient working alone before they recruit a scribe. Keep your notes clear, concise, and specific. Make notes on both halves of the team. Factor in notes and scoring into your schedule. It takes longer for an evaluator to do a PPSAT alone than with a scribe because of the scoring. Now that we've talked about the importance of building a good foundation of formative feedback, we'll cover the last part of your interaction with the team, the summative feedback. For safety and animal welfare reasons, the test should end as soon as the team scores not ready or not appropriate. If the non-human is being fearful and avoidant or distracted, stressed, and uncontrolled, ask the handler how they think things are going. They usually know when it's not going well, and that's your opportunity to start the discussion. Clearly communicate that the test is over as soon as possible, but use body language, tone, and facial expression to show warmth and empathy. Do not blurt out, "You're not ready." Now you may be thinking, "Maura, of course not. I'm a nice person. I know what to do." But you'll sometimes find that a team may rub you the wrong way, or you're having a particularly stressful event that day. You may be having an internal dialogue of relief that this test is over and you can send this team away. It's okay to have these feelings. Just make every effort to not let the team in front of you see them. It's helpful to have a colleague or a friend with whom you can vent or debrief if you have had a particularly stressful day. When delivering your summative feedback, try to sit down, avoid barriers such as a desk or table. This is usually easy, as most not readies and not appropriates happen when you're down with the animal anyway. Remember to be clear, concise, and kind. It should never be a list of "you did this and this and this wrong." You should be able to speak in the big picture and then refer back to the score sheet for specific examples to illustrate your point. Don't just go exercise by exercise. Include positives and negatives. Point out what they did well as what they need to improve. One of the foundations of the program and the reason for this training is consistency across the country. Watch out for your biases. We all have them. No matter how poorly a team is performing, their intentions are almost always good. I happen to come from the shelter world, so I love transport mutts and pit bulls, and I really appreciate people who adopt their dogs as rescues, but I do not let that color my judgment during the skills and aptitude test. Everyone receives the same level of courtesy and respect. There are several types and versions of not ready. Be clear about your level of confidence in the team and try to avoid absolutes. Don't bother giving them an in-depth plan or multiple tips, as the emotional toll of receiving bad news often makes it difficult or impossible for them to retain information. This is another reason your notes are so important. The team can review the score sheet once they're in the right mindset to prepare for the next attempt. Not readies you'll get used to over time. You'll see similar patterns and reactions and learn how best to respond. Not appropriates are always hard, but fortunately rare. It's often easier for you to explain because the animal did something clear, but much harder for the handler to hear because it's permanent. There's no opportunity to try again. Highlight other activities they could do with their animal if it's a dog, like agility, nose work, something else like that. Commend them for honorable intentions. Make it about animal welfare. You might want to say, it seems like your animal doesn't want to do this. And lastly, you can say, this is the standard. I have to go by what I've seen today. Remember, do not engage in any conversation about visiting anyway or joining a therapy animal organization. If you're still having trouble, you may just have to say, okay, thank you for your time. I'm sorry, we have to move on to the next scheduled team. In the rare cases that a team can get through the whole test, but they don't inspire confidence, or you suspect that the handler will be surprised and upset at the result, include a transition to the summative feedback in your script and plan where teams will wait in your event planning space, in your planning the event space. You can say, okay, we're done with the test. Please gather your things while I finish the score sheet. I'll meet you in the exit area where we will go over the results. Then consult with your volunteers to see if they have anything to add or dispute what you saw. For not appropriates, your volunteers are your witnesses, so you'll need their names and contact info. They can write it on your copy of the score sheet. That should not go to the team. When you're delivering the bad news, have a trusted colleague or volunteer with you. This person will not participate in the discussion, as you are the expert and authority figure in this setting. They're just there as a witness and to protect you in case something goes really wrong, which again, almost never happens. It's just a precaution. The more evidence you provide to headquarters, the easier it is for us to back you up in the event of a complaint. Make sure you give us a heads up as soon as possible if you think a complaint is imminent, so we are prepared to talk to the handler. It helps us shorten the time we spend on each case so we can efficiently address all inquiries and complaints in a timely manner. Finally, remember, you're criticizing a member of their family. People have their whole identities wrapped up in their pets, and you're challenging that. They're like children. No one wants to hear your child isn't good enough or you failed as a parent. Keep this in mind so you can keep calm and take emotional reactions in stride. If you can remain calm and consistent, it will shorten any altercations that might happen. If you want to do some of your own research on this subject, Psychology Today is a good resource. Most of the authors have credentials in communication, human behavior, and psychology. This is a summary of what we've just covered. There's a more in-depth article available from that link. Use formative feedback, know your procedures, take clear, concise notes. Remember the big picture. Pet Partners has a high standard which makes them a leader in the field. That standard is based on the idea that teams must inspire confidence in everyone they visit. This includes people who are naive or even fearful of your animal. Be direct but compassionate. Rip off the Band-Aid. Be specific and clear. Saying he's stressed is not specific. You need to be able to explain exactly how you know that the animal is feeling that way. When you deliver the bad news, be at their level. Don't use barriers such as tables or desks. Try to be private and avoid embarrassment. And finally, don't bargain. The test is over. This is your final judgment. They may contact headquarters through the Contact Us page on the website. Being professional and courteous through stressful and unpleasant interactions takes energy and time. This all gets much more difficult if you're rushing. While we understand the desire to produce and renew as many teams as possible, please be kind to yourself and set your handlers up for success when you build your schedule. Fairness to everyone includes equal time, so be mindful of that. While us humans tend to get bogged down in negativity, just remember to think of all the good you're doing by sending out those really good teams to make connections like this one in your community. This training is provided not to scare you, but to set you up for success. The vast majority of interactions you have will be pleasant and some will be incredible. Good luck.